Hey, Bill Shaka here. Welcome to another edition of the 5-Minute Motivator. Welcome to Tamarindo, Costa Rica. Oh, don't you just love the way the sun is reflecting off the back of my head? It's angelic, isn't it? I look like never mind. Anyway, I thank you for joining me on this edition of the 5-Minute Motivator. And what I would like to discuss with you today is the non-necessity of a shopping list. How many of you go food shopping? How many of you make a shopping list? You know what I have found over the years? I don't need one, as long as I make one. When I start jotting things down on a sheet of paper, if I forget the shopping list, I remember what was on the list. Isn't that something? Well, it is something when you think about it in light of the opposite. Now, what that means is that if I don't write it down on a list, I'll never remember it. The very act of writing crystallizes thinking. You know, there's an old saying that we have in learning theory, and that is that a mental note isn't worth the paper that it's written on. Think about that. How many times do we say to ourselves, oh, I'll make a mental note of that? What the hell does that mean? You know what that means? It means, well, oh, I'm going to try to remember that. That's exactly what it means. Newspapers, the old saying that reporters had was that a short pencil is better than a long memory. I hope I'm making the point here, ladies and gentlemen. The whole idea behind what I'm trying to say here is write stuff down. Write stuff down. Keep things with you. Now, I'm in the habit, and I've been in this habit for over 3 decades, of carrying an index card with me. It's in the back of my wallet. And I always have an ink pen with me also. And when I think of something, or if there's something that's important enough to remember, I whip out the index card, I grab the ink pen, and I jot down a couple of innocuous notes. I'm not talking about writing I'm not talking about writing the Book of Exodus. What I am talking about here are a couple notes to remind me of what the topic was that I wanted to remember. And then the next day, when I'm at my desk and I look at the index card, I remember. Without the index card, my chances of remembering are drastically reduced. Now, let's think about why. How many of us have nothing to do all day long but remember that one single thought that permeated our mind a few hours ago? I guarantee you, we all have a million things to do. We all have this white noise going through our heads. And it's not only with things that we have to remember, but it's things that we have to cope with, and it's things that have to be done. So consequently, the remembering of niceties, that's way in the background. Okay? That, when you look at your mind as a stadium, to remember something that you think makes sense, that's way up there in the bleachers. That's up there in the cheap seats. What you have to do, the coping skills that you need for the day, they're right up there on the first baseline. So the end result is write stuff down, and it'll work for you. I know it works for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I do my best to take the shopping list with me, but I find that the very act of writing makes much of that unnecessary. So I'd like you to consider that in general. I like to journalize. I have a journal with me at all times. It's one of the best ways to be able to formally capture your notes, but that's up to you. You do what you're comfortable with. The moral to this story is write stuff down. If you could just remember if you could just remember those 3 words, maybe you might want to write those words down. Write stuff down. It was worth the time that you spent on the 5-Minute Motivator. Hey, don't forget, like, share, comment. Don't forget, join the 5-Minute Motivator membership. I'm counting on you. This is Bill Shaka thanking you for attending another edition of the 5-Minute Motivator. Looking forward to seeing you in the next edition. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.